What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mindset Mastery Call. My name is Jordan Davis, and I have Brandon Boyd on here as well. Type fire emojis in the chat if you're excited to hear from myself and Brandon about this Mindset Mastery, about how to become psychologically prepared in life and as well as in trading. So type fire emojis in the chat if you're excited about that. But man, I'm really excited for this. It's been a little bit for myself. I have a new baby girl. I just had a daughter about a year ago, and some complications happened from that, as far as being in the hospital for a little bit too long, and as well as myself being in the hospital last year. So we're back. We're ready to go. Mindset is clear, and we have some good nuggets for you tonight. So myself and Brandon Boyd. I'm going to bring Brandon up here in just a little bit. We're going to be talking about the mindset mastery, how to properly develop good habits with personal development and have clear intentions for laser focused mindset. Brandon's going to be talking about that, and myself, I'm going to be talking about how to have a clear path for your dreams and as well as exaggerating how powerful your mind actually is. So, Brandon, man, I love this guy. I've known him for about 4 or 5 years now, and he has been my mentor and a good friend over the last years. And talk about a guy with a good mindset. He is Mr. Consistent. He has a great mindset with every aspect in life. And he's a Chairman 100. He's been going at this for what, 8, 9 years now in network marketing. And so maybe longer, I don't know. But he's awesome. Please pull out a pen and pencil, write on your phone, write in the notes, and please take notes as far as this and how you can apply the things in your life we're about to talk about tonight. So, Brandon, bring you up. Type 111 in the chat if you're excited. Brandon, thank you for being on here. Time is yours, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jordan. Guys, I'm definitely excited to be on. And actually, I've actually been in this industry this is actually year number 25. So I've actually been in the industry longer than some of the people have actually been alive that are on this call. But as far as in the company, the industry with trading, it's been 8.5 years inside iMastery Academy. Best experience I've ever had. The reason why I say that is not just from the personal success, it's that this vehicle has been able to really enable me to help more people than anything I've done before. Because sometimes like you'll do something and that it benefits you a lot, but there's not a lot of other people that benefit. With this vehicle that we've used, more people have benefited than anything I've done by far. It's not even close. The mere fact that we learned how to trade and then we started teaching people how to trade and then we developed the Impulse Scanner. It is truly amazing. So many lives are changing on a daily basis. I actually have one friend who told me that just the Impulse strategy with us coming out with that scanner completely transformed his financial life. And I can't give all the details because of income claims and stuff like that, but it's neat to see that we were able to develop something that has helped people all over the world, not just in the USA, but literally all over the world. So by the way, we appreciate those who are worldwide that are on the call right now. We realize for some of you, it's like the middle of the night. I saw that somebody was from Africa. So that's a pretty big deal. So appreciate you jumping on. There's a few things that I want to talk about tonight. And I do really believe that this call is going to be a big one. I was talking about in the video before the call about how it really just kind of takes one idea, one contact, one person, and things can really start to change in your favor. And that's something that I really, really believe. And so I want to talk about developing what I would call good habits and then setting clear intentions. Okay, so really two things, like developing the right habits and then setting clear intentions for that. And I really believe how, for personal development, it's essential. And then achieving this laser focused mindset. And so I want to give you guys some structured steps. I'm not one of those hype guys. I think that like actually giving you guys real value, like a lot of times when people are training, the reality is there's a lot of hype, and I'm not one of those guys. I mean, I get fired up, but I want to give you guys like real value. Number one is define your intentions clearly. And what I mean by that is you identify the goals that you have. Now, I kind of changed it from just goals to these days, like Tony Robbins said, it's the standards for your life. He said, we don't always get our goals, but we do get our standards. And for some people, the standards are just too low. And then their life. In fact, I actually wrote about this today. This is kind of interesting. I actually put out my stories like a couple of hours ago. And I want to share this with you because I was talking about the standards and belief systems. Here's what I wrote. I said, every part of you reflects your self-belief, your energy, your health, financial condition, relationships, and social status. That's the truth. So with this, you have to kind of identify what are the goals, what are the standards. And so you start by clearly defining what you actually want to achieve. I know for myself, when I first got into the industry, I was like, man, I just want to make 10 grand a month. And I thought that that'd be a big deal. Then I said, I want to make 6 figures a year. So 10,000 a month, 6 figures a year. And now it's like, dude, I can't survive off 10,000 a month. I've got a wife, 6 kids. We travel a lot. I go all around the world, and $10,000 a month right now in my life is not enough. And so I'd adjust those goals to, I want to make 6 figures a month, not 10,000 a month, but 6 figures a month. But you got to be specific. What is it that you actually want to achieve? Like one of the big things for me is I wanted to be 100% debt free. So own my house, own my cars, no credit card debt, all that kind of stuff. So that was a dream. That was a goal that I had. So like today, I don't have debt. I don't have house payments. I have no car payments. I have no credit card payments. I actually don't owe anybody any money. So if anything brings you peace of mind, it's being debt free. So again, the specifics of what you need to do, what it is that you want to achieve. So it could be related to your career. So some of you got jobs and others don't. Your personal health, maybe learning new skills, new relationships. You got to write these things down. Like for me, I like putting stuff on my phone because I want to see it all the time. Maybe it's on your wall, maybe it's on your laptop or something like that, but you want to write this down. You want to put it in writing because like if you just think in your mind, hey, this is what I want to do. What I have found is that it's too easy to just kind of set it aside if it's just in our mind. My goals are right in front of me, right? I have those things written down. In fact, one of the things I do each day is I actually review my goals, and I actually have a gratitude list. It's the 10 things that I'm the most grateful for. And I actually read it 2 times a day, one in the morning, one at night. In fact, the funny thing is I actually have an alarm on my phone because, you can forget certain things. So I actually have an alarm on my phone that reminds me to review the goals and that gratitude list twice a day. Okay. And so I think that's an important part of it. And number 2, is you want to break the goals into manageable steps. Like sometimes we're like, I want to make 7 figures. And then after a month, you're like, that's not going to happen. And so that's why I tell people, you got to have like manageable steps. You can't go from like, I have no money in my account, I'm not making any money trading, I'm going to do 2% a day. And so what I tell people is you got to set small, achievable targets. Okay. You break your main goals into smaller, actionable steps. And the reason why I say this is it makes them less daunting and more manageable when you do this. And so you plan these short-term milestones. And so you can set weekly or monthly milestones. I do this, I have an Excel spreadsheet. I track my progress. One thing I do like on my own personal finances, I wish that we were able to do this, but I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but it's like, I have a financial statement sheet that, Excel sheet that I put together. And I actually told it to some of the chairmen and educators at our Arizona event when we were backstage, and they were like mind blown, like, dude, this is so freaking amazing. I wish that you could actually share this. But the problem is that I can't, but I review it every single week. And I track the progress, I review the goals, and I kind of see how I'm going towards the goals. And one of the things that I said with this, and this is some good advice for you guys, is I remember Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he said, wealth is the number of days forward that you can survive without running out of money. So I'll just tell you this, my Excel spreadsheet where it has, your assets, your debt, which my debt column has 0. It actually tells me how much time forward until I would actually run out of money if my income was cut off today. It's not days, it's not weeks, it's not months. It's many, many years. I have put myself, my wife, and my family many years down the road. If my income was gone today, if I was not a Chairman 100, if I was not a Go Live educator, I had no trading money coming in. I have projected myself years in advance. What you don't track, you won't have. Can you imagine like Amazon or Elon Musk just every day coming and being like, let's just go make it happen. Like no plan. Let's just go make it happen. Right? It's like, dude, that's not a game plan for success. Just as if someone's like tracking weight loss, they're tracking their trading, they're tracking their finances, right? And some of you are like, why? I'm not one of those people. Well, then you probably don't have a lot of money and you probably have debt. So you can't be like, well, I'm not one of those morning people. I'm not one of those tracking people. Well, you got to become one, because just like you have to think rich to get rich, you got to track to get rich. You can't just log in and almost like put your hands over your eyes and just make sure that the bank account's not in the negative. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So tracking that progress and setting those small achievable goals is really, really important. Number 3 is you create a routine. So a daily routine. And so you can incorporate like specific times in your day for focus, working towards your goals. And I'm not going to say what time of day, because everyone's situation is different. And some of you may work better at night. Some are more on lunch or early morning, whatever it is. You just want to set aside time during the day for that, because consistency is key to habit formation. Okay. Because if you want something to become that habit, right? Like I drink 2 gallons of water a day. All right. It is a habit. It is a goal. I got to drink 2 gallons of water a day. Now I've had some people tell me like, that's too much water for your system. It's like, guys, you're probably not having enough water. Okay. So the goal is to get 2 gallons of water. This is for myself. I got to make sure that each day I have at least around 1.5 gallons to two gallons. Okay. So use tools to help. So you could leverage stuff on your phone, your calendar, your apps, alarms on your phone, right? These things will help you to schedule and remind you of these tasks that you have. And that's an important thing, because look, all of us need reminders, even me. Like I remember a lot of stuff, but I need those reminders. I have a number of alarm clocks on my phone that remind me of certain things that I need to be doing. Okay. Now, this is a key one that I think is a really important that a lot of people forget. And Dr. Lee talked about this the other day on Go Live. It is to prioritize the task. So it's not just about, hey, here's my list. Like I work off a list of what I need to do, kind of those top 5 things, but it's the priority. Like what is the number one thing that I could do every day to move the needle of my business and my life? So I prioritize the tasks. I like working from a list, but I prioritize which ones are the most important. So, and everybody has kind of their own thing, but I followed this Pareto principle. I learned it years ago, the 80-20 rule, to focus on the tasks that offer the most significant impact. Okay. So 80% of my time with the top 20% of the people, right? You got to learn to say no. So you avoid overcommitting yourself by saying no to certain things that do not align with your main objectives. I remember I actually learned from Warren Buffett. He said he actually turned away like 90% of the deals that were presented to him. So sometimes we got to actually say no, because what's happened is that people are getting busy, but they're not productive. They're wasting too much time. They're not being productive. You got to pretend, whether it's this business or trading, like this is the way that you pay your bills. And then all of a sudden your back is against the wall. It's like, oh crap, I need to take this serious. This is not a hobby. This is a business. See, my plan B is to make sure that plan A works. I don't have a side deal. I don't even have any other businesses. This is all that I do. And so I have forced myself to become successful with this because I don't have a backup plan. This is the plan. And now look, if it blew up today, I'd have learned a skill. I know how to trade. Okay. So that's important. It's something I've taken away. Number 5 is you want to monitor the progress. Okay. So some of you keep journals or logs or something like that. You just want to write down what you've accomplished and what you've learned. I think that this is important because sometimes it's like, we're always thinking about the next thing, but like, wow, look at how far I've come. Last week I did a training and I called it a reverse bucket list. You know, like some people have a bucket list. I want to go here, do this and that and stuff like that. I actually created a reverse bucket list. And it was like, dude, look at all the things that we've done. Look at all the places we've traveled. Look at all the things that we have accomplished. Holy smokes. We've actually done a lot. And so when you review these things, the progress and how far you've come, it makes a difference. Like I was able to pull up on my phone a couple of weeks ago. I actually showed it to my wife. And I said, here's where we were back in 2010. This is when her and I first got engaged, and I was really getting detailed on my finances on Excel spreadsheet that I had created. I said, this is where we were when we were engaged and getting married. This is where we are today. It was basically a side by side. That did not happen by accident. It did not happen by me just winging it and going out and saying, I'm just going to go out and make it happen. It happened week by week, month by month, year by year, tracking my progress and looking back and saying, wow, look at all the progress that's been made, right? Progress equals happiness. That's what Tony Robbins said. And so you want to reflect on what works and what does not. Sometimes you have to adjust your strategies. You got to be flexible. You got to be willing to adjust maybe some of the methods if some of the aspects of your plan are not working, especially with trading. Sometimes like people come into this and they're like, man, I'm going to do 2% a day. And now you're just like, shoot, if I could even do 0.5% a day, I'd be happy, right? So sometimes it's like you make these adjustments, which is okay, because I always say, you know, champions don't quit, champions simply make adjustments. You just have to realign things, right? Now, number 6, seek feedback, accountability. Some of you need to find a mentor or coach, okay? So regular like interactions with someone that maybe can provide you a little bit of guidance or feedback. It could be the upline or something like that. This can be incredibly valuable. That the person that I do that with is actually Alex Morton. I go to him, I say, hey man, this is what's been going on. I need your advice on how to make it better, how to kind of go to that next level. Alex picks up my calls. He responds to my text messages. We have developed a friendship over many years now where he's kind of that accountability partner. I even told him, I said, look, you can smack me upside the head and say, hey, you need to change this. You need to revise that. If this is what's holding you back, right? So having that accountability partner, with a mentor or coach, somebody that you respect, can be a big thing, okay? Sharing your goals with maybe friends that can actually help you stay committed. Now, don't share the things that you're doing or that you want to do with the people that don't support you in what you're doing. Sometimes you share stuff with family or even a spouse or significant other, a mom and dad, a brother or sister, and you know, they're kind of like, they want you to be successful as long as you don't pass them up. You know, they don't want to see you win. So sometimes those people are not very good at encouraging, right? And so you want to make sure that you're with people that are actually encouraging you, that you share those things with. Number 7 is to cultivate discipline and patience. And this one is a huge one. You want to practice self-discipline. Okay. In the beginning, I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of patience. I was like, dude, I want to get my account to 7 figures by this month. And then I realized this is something that happens over time. So you need to practice self-discipline, stay true with those intentions that you have, even when it's challenging, by the way, because building discipline, this is crucial for long-term success. And you got to be patient with yourself, realizing here's what I found in business. And guys, I can tell you, I'm a go-getter, sense of urgency. I'm a sprinter. I sprinted in high school. I was in track and I wanted to let's just get it done. Right. But what I found is that success takes time. I mean, even the guy behind me, Michael Jordan, you know, some people call him the GOAT. Others think that LeBron's the GOAT or whatever. It doesn't matter who's the GOAT. But it took Michael 7 years to win his first championship. That's actually kind of a long time. 1984 to about 1991, about 7 years. That's a long time. He had to be really patient, but it would have been real simple back in those days. Hey, just trade me to another team. Put me on a superstar team, right? I'm sick and tired of losing with the Chicago Bulls. Well, he stuck with it. And people don't even think about those 7 years. They only think about 2 3-peats and no losses. You see what I'm saying? But it takes patience. Things always take longer than what's expected. In fact, I don't know of any business I've done that happened in the time frame that I thought it was going to. Now, I'm not being negative. I'm positive to you. Your dreams, your goals usually take a bit longer than you were hoping for, but guess what? They can still be accomplished. So even if it didn't take 1 year, 5 years, and it took 7 years, it was still worth it, because what I've always said is the time is going to go by regardless. The question is, where are you going to be when that time goes by? You know, like, oh, if I went back to college, I'd be 35 and when I graduate. Well, if you don't go back, how old are you going to be? They're like, the same age, right? So it's like the time is going to go by regardless. Where are you going to be when that time goes by? And you got to understand that developing habits and achieving goals, it flat out takes time. And so you want to celebrate the small wins along the way. This is something that I did not do a good job of early on. I felt like I don't have time for wins. I don't have time for celebration. I don't have time to buy myself. So I was always putting it off for some future time. I do think today that it is healthy to celebrate the wins, however you want to celebrate along the way, because you do want to enjoy the journey on your way to success. You don't just want it to be all discipline. That could be taking a trip, it could be buying something, whatever it is that you celebrate the wins. So I actually do that now. When I have certain like benchmarks of things that I have achieved for myself, I do that. So like we were just in Hawaii, I took my wife and kids to Hawaii. I'd hit a certain benchmark for a goal that I had. And so I will admit, I splurged a little bit on this trip. It's already expensive to take a family to Hawaii, a family of 6 children. But I spent about 25 to 27,000 on that one trip. And part of it is because I splurged a little more than I normally would because I hit the benchmark. And guess what? We had an amazing time. We ended up having to take 2 helicopters because of the size of our family, the doors were off. Best experience of the whole thing. Now, we've done helicopters before, but now with the kids, that was a win. That was awesome, right? And so it was like, when I was up in the helicopter, I just kept thinking, this is so awesome, man. All that work was worth it. Look at this. We're like literally going by mountains and we can see people at the top of the mountains waving to us as we're on the helicopters. We could look down and there was like 3 massive whales, okay, in the water. So celebrating those wins along the way, however big or small they might be, I think is an important thing. I did not do that in the beginning and in the middle. I do it today, and I think it's important for you to do. Now, you got to maintain, number 8 is maintain a positive mindset. And I'm not just saying be positive, be positive, be positive, because sometimes people do that and then they get negative because they're not putting in the action or things aren't happening. I'm talking about kind of almost being like an incurable optimist, like staying optimistic. The easy thing to do is be negative, to whine and grope and complain about life. Like that's the easy thing to do. But the problem is like, you're going to continue like a magnet to attract that into your life. If you're always complaining about stuff at home, complaining about stuff in the business, complaining about work, frankly, you're just going to draw more of that stuff into your life. So I tell people to stay optimistic, keep a positive outlook to overcome setbacks and challenges. Okay? Everybody has them. But every setback is simply a setup for a greater comeback. I've had them. You guys know, I wrote Bankrupt to Abundance. I have a YouTube video called First 40 Years. In literally in 10 months, I lost my house, spouse, business, and cars in 10 months. Okay. It was like, besides death, it was like the worst thing. All right. But I said to myself, every setback's a setup for a comeback. I know that things are going to be greater in front than they were in the past. Right. And guess what? Boy, it's been an amazing 14 years since that time. Right. And so you want to practice, like some people call it mindfulness, meditation, prayer, whatever it is that you believe in that you want to do. Like these techniques, they can enhance your focus. I found that they can reduce stress. They can help kind of aid in maintaining a laser focused mindset. I tell people so I do prayer, but I also ponder a lot. I think a lot, I ponder a lot, and that helps me to stay laser focused on where I'm going to, not what I'm going through. Okay. Number 9, and I'm almost done, guys, and I'll turn it back to Jordan, is you want to, on a regular basis, reevaluate the goals that you have. So for me, I do it every day. So you can set the time for review. I don't care if it's the morning, the midday, or night. Just set the time to look over those goals, like every day or every few months. Review the goals, review the progress. And what this does is it helps in realigning your actions with your intentions. You know, what do they say, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions? So that's why it's important for you to think about your goals and realigning those with your actions and your intentions. This is why I'm talking about habits, because it's not just about the end result. It's about what are the habits that I need to cultivate in order to get to these goals and these standards I have for my life, and also be open to change. Don't hesitate to modify your goals as your priorities and circumstances change. Okay. Last one, number 10, stay educated, stay inspired, read and learn. If you don't like reading, then listen to audiobooks. Okay. For me, I consume books, I consume podcasts. All right. I love it. I probably listen, I don't know, maybe 2 hours today worth. And so this gives me like new insights and inspiration. Okay. Go to workshops, go to seminars. We have conventions. Those are going to help you to offer new skills, networking with the other successful people. And what that's going to do is it's going to support your personal development. And I really believe, guys, that if you follow these steps and you're consistent in the efforts, that you can develop good habits that are going to propel you towards achieving your personal goals. And I also think it's going to help you to maintain a focused and purposeful mindset throughout this journey that you have. Everybody's on a journey right now, right? Every single one of you is on the journey. Like some of you are like a third of the way in, some of you are like half the way in, and others are like really far in to that journey. I'm on a journey right now. And for some, I'm like way further along. I'm like on chapter 24, and other people are in chapter 3. But guess what? I had to go through chapter 3 too. And I had a reset back in 2010. Man, I had a reset, and I had to reset my mindset in order to get to this point now. And some of you have been through that as well. Hard times, right? Where you had to go through it. Everybody's been through different things, but I can tell you it was worth it. I've absolutely loved the journey, and I'm also excited for the future. So with that, Jordan, I'm going to turn it back to you. I'm grateful that you've had me on here. I'm going to stay on the call, and I appreciate your friendship and everything that you have continued to do with the team and to help people out. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Wow, that was awesome. Type 777 in the chat if you could receive value and are going to apply these specific steps of habits in your life from what Brandon just shared. Yeah, there you go. All the sevens. I love it. Hey, Wall, love you, man. Awesome. So a couple of things I want to go over on specifically your mind and the power of your mind that I've seen in my life and envisioning things in the future. So a couple steps or a couple of points, I guess. So number one, I actually learned this from Alex Morton over the last week down in Arizona. He said about receiving, or the law of attraction. He said that the mind can be turned into the paper, and the paper can turn into the physical. What that means is like what you can see in your head, you can hold in your hand. What you can see in your head, that could be either if your dreams are to travel the world, or to get married and have a family, or that's to run a business, or that's to have the car, have the house, whatever that may be in your dreams and your short-term or long-term goals, that all starts in your mind. And what the paper side means is I came to the conclusion of having a vision board, right? Seeing it in my head, but physically seeing it in person. My background on my laptop is a vision board of places I want to travel to, the things I want to have for my family and for my daughter. And having a vision board can be really effective, especially, I mean, I heard a story last week in Arizona. I was talking to a guy where he wanted this BMW, and so what he did is printed a picture of that BMW and put it in his office, in his kitchen, in his bathroom, and had a small little card picture of it in his car. And every day he would wake up, see that thing, and be reminded of his goals and his habits and why he's doing those things. So I'd be having it in paper. I have a vision board personally, and then having the physical side of things. Go be around those people. Go be around those things that you want. Go watch YouTube videos of the places you want to go, and just imagine yourself as a point of view of yourself like a movie, right? You're the star of your own movie. You're able to create this belief system. And that's number two, is building a belief system, right? Having a belief system of understanding what you actually want and believing that you're actually going to get there. Alex Morton said along the lines of the belief system is you got to see it, hear it, and experience it. Along the lines of having the vision board, listen to the audiobooks, listen to the successful people who are giving you the steps on how they became where they are today, and experiencing those things of watching the videos, going to the dealerships or whatever it is for the car you want, or go drive around neighborhoods. And before I moved into this place, me and my wife used to live in a basement apartment when we first got married for the first year or two. And we just wanted to be like, dang, we wanted to live in this area. So we would drive around that area probably two or three times a week. And then right before we had our daughter, beginning of last year of 2023, we actually moved into this neighborhood where we wanted to be. And so experiencing those things and just imagining yourself in those places. Number three is there's a secret that Alex Moore, and I'm basing a lot of this off of what he taught last week and what I've seen over his podcast, his brand new podcast, Alex Morton's show. He's like, the secret is actually feeling. Like, how does it feel? What do you feel in your heart that you really want, right? Not a lot of people know what they want. They go through, like a lot of my friends, they are just barely graduating college right now, and they don't even know what they want to do with their degree, or even if they're going to use their degree, right? They feel like they went to school to do this specific thing because someone told them to, their parents told them to, or it was just something just to do, right? They didn't feel like they were very passionate about it. So understanding your feelings becomes a lot of the part of what happens in your head and what you imagine, what you think, and what you feel. So number 4 is understanding and control, or focusing on what you can control. A lot of people, I have my sister, for example, she focuses on a lot of things that she can't control. Like people having road rage down the road, she gets really mad and it takes it very personal because it bothers her, it gives her anxiety, and she gets nervous. So controlling what you can control has become a very big part of who I am, because the path that you're wanting to go down, if these people are saying things, doing things, whatever it is, you can't control how they feel or what they do, but you can control how you feel and what you do, based off of how your mindset is prepped on what stuff Brandon was talking about, creating those habits and having those mental blocks on specific things that people are saying, or having the aspect of your goals and your discipline and what you really want to do. So number 4 was control what you control. Number 5 is having a crystal clear vision on what you actually want, and understanding that what you can see in your head, you can hold in your hand. I mean, growing up, I did martial arts. My family, the Davis side of my family, we grew up in martial arts, became a black belt around 12 or 13 years old. And along that training, when we're going into a sparring, we're going into breaking a board or a couple bricks. I mean, I think the most I broke at 13 years old was like 3 or 4 bricks with my hand. And so what a big part of that training mentally was understanding. I mean, you probably see those people in videos like doing like prep, like they go really slow and then go really fast to break the boards or the bricks. And what all they're doing is imagining their force of their hand or their foot or whatever it is going all the way through the bricks to the end. Because if they just stop at the surface at the first brick, they're probably going to either break their hand or only get through one brick. And so the idea is, once you set your intentions and you have that fixed mindset of, I'm going to get there no matter what, whether that's going this way or that way, I know my end goal. And so understanding going all the way through the bricks, you're imagining in your head, after this is done, I'm going to have proper technique. I'm going to have the proper steps, proper habits that I've been training for to be able to elevate to breaking those 4 bricks, or elevating and making X amount of money, getting things that you want. And so breaking those 4 bricks, it hurt because I slightly did it wrong. I broke my index finger right here. What it taught me is like, as long as I have the power and the intentions of having that visionary aspect of completing it, that's what brings you 10 steps farther than the average person who's just thinking about, oh, is it going to hurt? Am I only going to break 1? Am I only going to break 2? You're like, no, I'm breaking all 4 no matter what, based off of your preparation up to that point. And so along the lines of, as I finish up here, is understand the steps of personal development and how that fixes into your life, and understanding the things that you want and controlling what you control with the visions in your head. Brandon talked about prayer or pondering or meditation, and just seeing those things in your head really, really makes a difference. So hope you guys understood a little bit of what came here to do. We love doing these, me and Brandon. We talked about doing this last week in Arizona, and I want to be doing a lot more of these down the road. I love expressing this stuff. I learn a lot more teaching it and talking about it than I actually do reading or listening to it. And so that's how I am able to learn a lot faster, quicker, and be able to apply these things into my life. So Brandon, is there anything else you'd like to say before we end this?
Well, I definitely appreciate you guys for being on. This wasn't meant to be a long-winded call. It was just a quick mindset master to give you guys some ideas and some tips to help you. I mean, here's the reality. Everybody needs help, right? All of us need help right now to kind of get to that next level, including myself, which is why I talked to Chris Terry, which is why I talked to Alex Morton. I talked to Jason Brown, who's the VP of the company, literally for 3 hours 2 days ago, 3 hours on the phone. And so everybody needs that extra insight to kind of get to that next level. And hopefully with some of the things we shared with you guys tonight, it's kind of that aha, okay, that's what I need to start doing. If it was just one or two things, that's what I need to start doing. Because the reality is everybody gets busy. Everybody's got stuff going on, right? But we want to make sure we're not just busy, we're productive. I know some of you want to do this full time. You're like, man, if I could just get rid of my job, I'd absolutely love to do this full time, right? Well, some of the things we talked about tonight can help facilitate that. So hopefully we gave you guys some good value on that, and we will do more of these calls, and definitely looking forward to having you guys on.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. If you apply these things in your life, things will change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And every step that you're got going on in your journey right now, the most important step is the one you're taking right now. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Brandon, thank you so much for being on here, man. Love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you guys on the next call.